So today we're going to talk about a couple of things, right? We're going to talk about, there's some new laws affecting the real estate market, really 2 or 3 that we're going to talk about, especially the October 1st one. It's a new selling office commission law, which is kind of weird. I don't know how much it's going to affect it, but we're going to talk about it so you guys can be informed. If you guys missed the excise tax, the new excise tax that's hitting sellers starting the first of the year, we're going to refresh on that. And then we're going to go into listing mastery. And then we're going to do a market update. All right, so the new law that's coming up here starting October 1st is the first of its kind in real estate, right? It's called the MLS Office Commission Rule. In a move to increase transparency and flexibility for consumers and brokers, the Northwest Multi-Listing Service will update its rules concerning the publishing of selling office commission. So that means the selling office to be published on a brokerage firm's public website. It will allow the seller to choose not to offer a selling office commission in the listing agreement, and it will allow buyers to negotiate a selling office commission as part of the buyer's offer to purchase the subject property. We kind of don't know how it's going to affect it, but one thing we do know is, let's say if somebody's giving 3% commission to a buyer, on our company's website or Windermere's website or Remax's website, it will say that 3% would go to the agent that represents the buyer. But here's the kicker, right? It will allow the seller to choose not to offer a selling office commission in the listing agreement. Okay, so that's kind of the curveball, right? So what do we do with that? And then the last thing it's going to do is it will allow buyers to negotiate a selling office commission as part of the buyer's offer to purchase the property. So that's another one that the buyers can negotiate with the sellers on how much commission their agent will get.
Most people are not going to know this. And the people who are going to cause the biggest issue with this over the next 5 years are going to be us, trying to educate our buyers, our sellers, those types of things. So overall, though, in the beginning, your seller does not, as of October 1st, does not have to pay a commission. What you don't understand is your sellers never had to pay a commission. This is just the assumption and what we've done as an industry for 100 years. Right? It's always kind of been this way. The seller pays the side. It's not a bad thing. It's just going to be a shift in the market as far as the mindset.
I don't think it's that big of a deal right now, but we'll keep an eye on it for the next 6 months, 12 months, and I'll update you guys during these brunch sales meetings on what's going to happen with it. But I want you guys to stay informed out there. Like, you guys are going to start hearing this a lot. If you want to read this law more in depth, just go to the MLS. It's all over the MLS under new rules and regulations. So we talked about this 2 weeks ago, the new excise state law affecting sellers December 1st, 2020. So let's recap. So before this, right now the state law, the excise tax is 1.78% for any seller. That's right now all across the board, just flat, generic 1.78%. So what's going to happen is starting in the new year, under 500,000 sales price, seller's going to pay a little bit less. So instead of like 1.78%, seller's going to pay 1.6%. At 500,000 to 1.5 million sales price for any sellers, the excise tax will remain the same, 1.78%. The people that are going to get hit are the wealthy. 1.5 million to $3 million price points, sales price, they're going to pay 3.25%. Okay, that's about almost double of what they're paying now. And then over 3 million, it's definitely right at double. So the rich will get taxed more, and the people that are working class, they'll get taxed a little bit less.
Florida did this about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, tried this, got sued so many times by so many people, they went back to their old version. We'll see how this rolls out.
All right, so we're going to get into Section 2, what to do with an active listing besides lowering the price. So now we're going into listings, but we're not going to basic listings. We're going to listing mastery, all right? This is like advanced listings. And you guys that are listing out there, this is really good stuff for you guys to learn so you guys can be well prepared when you have a listing that is challenging, just sitting on the market a little too long. What we're going to do with it. A, restructuring pictures or taking new pics. That one always helps. Maybe it's still pictures on there. Maybe it needs to be wider angles, or maybe, if you take a different angle of the front of the house, buyers will be like, oh yeah, look, a new listing, but really the same listing. But they're like, hey, look, it's a new listing because the angle is different.
Helps tremendously. It does. Remember that it's pictures driving our marketing. So a lot of times, the quality of our picture and how it is set up for mobile application, how good is this quality? So the higher the quality, the better the pop on those pictures, the more people inquire. The more people inquire, the more people tour. The more people tour, the more offers you get.
So another thing you could do is giveaways, such as giving home warranties. That's about $250. You could say that. You could put a sign on the post, free home warranty to the buyer. You can put it in the agent remarks and the marketing remarks. And it costs nothing to you as the listing agent until the house sells. You don't even have to pay for it until the house sells. And home warranties, they cover the house while it's active. You don't have to pay for it, and it covers stuff in the house while it's active. Great for a vacant home.
Guys, if you had a seller with a $1.5 million house, use an example, a $1.5 million house, and they're willing to drop $100,000 in price. Okay, right? Been out for a month, going to drop $100,000. What if you give away a new Tesla?
A new
For
what?
$100,000.
Tesla.
So 1.5, buy the house, I'll give you the keys to a brand new Tesla S. So what's the difference between giving a car away or dropping at $100,000? Everybody drops $100,000.
They
Who
all
gives
want that
away a
Tesla.
brand new car? 26 times they did it. Only took the car twice. The rest of the time everybody, the car's great. Can I have the discount? Okay, but notice, they're begging me, not me begging them.
Another thing you guys can do is give more commission. Let's just say you get 6% commission, right? 3 to 3. The home's sitting on the market for 3 or 4 months. The seller's about to cancel you. They say, you gotta sell it in 30 days or I'm canceling. What you could say is, okay, no problem. I'll think of some strategies, I'll get back to you. Then you give online, you'll say that agent that brings a buyer gets 3.5% commission. You get 2.5. Imagine how much the buyer's agent's gonna wanna show your house over these other houses in the neighborhood that's giving 2.5 to 3% commission. You can do that. Me and like when I used to sell real estate 4 or 5 years ago, there was a house in Kent that we did that to. The seller was really upset with us 2 or 3 months in, it didn't sell. We knew it was overpriced in the beginning. And they said, you got 2 weeks. We said, damn, okay, let us figure it out. And we gave 4% commission on the MLS, the agent that brought the buyer, and we kept 2. And guess what, 2 weeks later, we found the buyer and we got under contract and sold it, and we got 2% commission. The agent got 4, but we got it done.
And 2 is better than 0.
Okay, E, what to do again? Take the home off the market to make needed repairs or updates. Get feedback from brokers that have toured it, maybe new paint, if color is off, landscaping, staging, or furniture. So you can take off the home off the market. You can do a temporary off-market status. You can't just do it online yourself. You gotta scan in a Form 19 to the MLS saying temporary off the market. It only can be temporary off the market for 45 days before it automatically turns to a cancel. But temporary off market, that's the status. You'll see some on the MLS. That means they're gonna relist in 45 days. And then I always put in there with agent remarks and marks, I said, sellers repainting the house for some needed repairs. Home is still available. Contact listing agent if you're interested still. So let them know there's someone's interested in that time where we have to off the market.
That piece is really critical.
Contact us. That's
I
the big
cannot
one.
tell you the number of brokers that take temporary off the market, it says nothing.
Yes.
Well, what if I have a buyer who wants to buy it right now? You really want to keep it off market? Or do you want to sell it to me? Right? So always, when you do temporary off market, always put that it's still available. Please contact broker directly. And let's let them know. Let them, communication, let them know.
All right, another thing, G, you can do a pre-inspection. Maybe buyers aren't buying because it needs too much repairs and they get scared when they go to the house. So you could do a pre-inspection and have the sellers repair the items and give an inspection report with the receipts. Then marketing the home to let buyers know about the upgrades and the repairs. Confidence comes from being prepared. So if you're going to go into a listing presentation, practice, and you're going to be comfortable when you go into the listing presentation.
Come in and grab us, grab me. Sit down with half hour, say, I want to do my hour practice. Schedule some time, come in, sit down. We'll just practice. We'll role play it, we'll do whatever you need to do, and I'll help kind of fine tune it so that you can dial this in. Becoming a great lister, a great listing broker, is practice.
Be helpful. When the buyer's agent calls, give them straight answer, respond quickly and courteously. If we don't have an answer yet, let them know we're working on it. Remember, they're our key to getting them to have their buyers put in offers. We want to work on that?
I will answer if Maria called me and said, hey, you know, I've got a buyer, wants to put an offer in your house. Sure, I got 9 offers. Oh, okay. Well, where do I gotta be? Stop it. Here's my top offer. Here's exactly what you're up against. Man, buyer's brokers go, wow, thank you so much. I don't want you to waste my time, my seller's time, or your time. I tell people exactly where they're at. I do. It's just easier. And yes, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely legal, completely above ground, and it's actually more ethical in many ways because here's the top offer. Why would you want another offer coming in down here? If you're gonna compete, this is where you gotta compete at. But the brokers don't know until you tell them. Okay, this is how I handle the objection. You've gone through the whole tour and got everything down, and the first thing they say, you know this is coming. You guys all know this is coming, right? Everybody knows this is coming. Will you lower your commission? Redfin will do it for 1%. Such and such will do it. Now mind you, the ability to use this close is based on following a structure from start to finish. So when I walk in the door, I'm getting my tour, I'm finding out the criteria, what their hot buttons are for selling. You know, Rita, tell me as we're going through the house, what's going on? What's important about selling your house right now? And I've worked my way down and have their emotional reasons. I use the phrase all through it. So what you're asking, what you really want, Brett, is you really want me to get you the most amount of money in the least amount of time, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So now we're down, we're sitting there, and Brett says, will you lower your commission? This is my response, no. And I paused for 5 seconds and I grinned. I'm not sure if we've done this. She's been on 2 listens with me. I haven't had them ask me that yet when she's been there, but I smile. And I say, want to know why? Because people will, there's that tension. Leave it there, hang it in the air and let that tension be there. Then give them the tension release. Here's tension release. Brett, would you like to know why?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, okay, I figured you would. Here's why. Listing your house, the paperwork, easy part. You know where I earn my money and where you want to pay me a full commission is in the negotiations. Because what happens is, we do this right, you get multiple offers. And my money is earned and your money is made by me negotiating and pushing those prices up so you get the most amount of money in the least amount of time, right?
Correct.
Oh, great. Listen, if I roll over right now and lower my commission, you automatically know I'm not the person to negotiate you the most amount of money in the least amount of time, huh?
Yes, I do.
Great. Any other questions before we get the
No.
paperwork? Done. Poof, just like that. Confidence. Just know who you are and what you're worth. Again, if you are just trying to get anything and you'll do anything to get anything, you will have to deal with all these issues. If you are a financial professional and you believe in who you are and what you do, and you're willing to step away from a deal, people will feel that energy. They will, and they'll go along with you. Because you're confident, and if you're confident, that gives them confidence.
When you go to your doctor, dentist, lawyer, and they give you a bill, and you say, I don't know, I'll pay half of that to remove my kidney. Yeah, that's all I can pay. They're like, no, either I do it for this price or you're gonna have a bad kidney, you go somewhere else. Right, same thing as real estate professional. We gotta know what we're worth. You need to have a thick skin being a strong listing broker. You know why? Because dealing with the seller is a little bit more stressful than dealing with the buyer. And a lot of the time, the seller is gonna blame you for stuff throughout the whole 2 or 3 or 4 months. And it's nothing personal, they're just very stressed out. You know, they need to move. They need to buy another house. They lived in the house for 10 years and they wanted $700,000, but we only got an offer for $500,000. They think in their head they're losing $200,000. They gotta blame somebody, so they're gonna blame you. And the strong listing brokers understand that and say, no problem, I'm sorry, let me figure it out. I understand if I was in your shoe, I'll feel the same way. All right, let me figure out some solutions, I'll call you back. And then they get off the phone and they, I can't wait to get this done.
Okay, now better.
Okay, better. Hey, okay, yeah, here's the solution I found. You're right, if I was in your shoe, I'd feel the same way. We're right on top of
we're
it,
humans,
sorry.
guys, we're humans. We have emotions, right? We are. We want to be loved too, we want to be connected, we want to be successful, right? We have our problems too.
So
solve their problems.
Just almost expect them to get mad at you throughout the transaction at least once, and you're gonna say, sorry, I'll do a better job. We're gonna get this right. And
I don't personally use the word sorry, ever.
No.
Anyhow, I learned this language a long time ago. Everyone does. I always say, pardon me. Pardon me. If you say, okay, the problem is this, when you say, I'm sorry, people, there's a thing called one up equal or one down. Everybody perceives you either one down from them, one up from them, or equal them. As soon as you say, I'm sorry, you drop to one down. If you say, pardon me, people go, oh, okay, it's like the king pardoning you, right? It's just a language pattern thing that helps. Practice it if you want. Say you're sorry if you like. Most people do, it's okay. I just don't personally use that word, unless I want to use that word. There are clients you will need to fire in your life. They do exist. It's not worth your effort. It's not worth taking issues from them, okay? It just isn't.
Well,
client is not always right, but they're still the client. Okay, they're still who we're working with. They're not right, but they're still.
but we're the professionals.
Be polite and yet firm in your approach. Objections. Remember, the objections, anger, meanness, etc. are all based on a person's fears, failures, and frustrations. So for me, when someone's being mean, obnoxious, screaming around, something's going on in their life. Let's solve that. Let's figure out what it is. Let's bring it to the surface. Let's deal with that if we can. Get past it and see how we can solve things. Everybody's struggling. Come on, anybody in this room not struggling with something? Okay. Everybody, hey, she's not, I'm good.
I'm just
Everybody you meet is struggling with something. Remember that. They're struggling with something, okay?
Believe it or not.
No, I'm coming to your house next, okay? I'm gonna give you a few issues today. Each got a house and home and everything, right? Janta, you're great, thank you. Just remember, everybody's struggling. So you may be completely right sometimes when they're struggling, but being right doesn't get you paid all the time, okay? It doesn't. Solve their problem. Forget about being right or wrong. Figure out what the issue is and solve it. Take care of people, especially because people who are upset and angry, what they're really looking for, remember, go back to being a kid. You're throwing a temper tantrum, what do you really want? You want your mom's attention, your dad's attention, you need something. And you don't know any other way to get it, so this is what you do. So go back and solve the problem. You'll find most meanness goes away, people apologize profusely, they do. They just solve their problems. Good. I think we're...
Yeah, so kind of know that there's a deep-seated underlying thing with money with a lot of people. Once you start talking about money with a lot of people, there's a lot of underlying anxiety that comes out. And just know that when they're selling the house, it comes out a lot. And so the strong listing brokers understand that, and they don't take things personally. They follow through with the transaction until it's done. And then usually afterwards, the seller's like, hey, sorry about that time when I flew up on you on the phone. It wasn't me, you know, I'm very stressed out, no problem. Let's go grab a beer, let's go celebrate the closing, we'll get it done. And that's just expected, you know, so don't respond. When you hear, like, you're talking to them, they're talking to you, don't respond when you feel like that conversation is getting heated. I'll feel it myself, like, hey, let me call you back in about an hour, let me take this call on the other line, we'll figure it out. Okay. You know, well, good thing I got off the phone. I was about to say some stuff I regretted, right? So remember that. Be careful with sending text messages and emails, because a lot of the times the people take it the wrong way, because if they're mad, and they put their emotions in, and when they get that text message or email. So I'm very careful with sending it when there's already kind of a going on. I like to meet in person. I like, hey, let's talk on the phone so you can hear my tone, that I'm sorry, and I'm trying to solve this with you. Right, so be careful with sending text messages and emails and don't respond during those times. Take a little break, hour, the next day, cooler heads will prevail.
Michael?
Yeah.
A lot of times in my listing appointments at the end, after it's time, I'll turn and talk to people and say, look, this selling, so you know, can be very stressful. So when and if something happens, you're angry, you're upset, you need to scream and yell at somebody and you're totally wrong, but you still need to do it, just call me up. I can handle it. I'm here for you. I'll get you through the screaming and yelling. I'll get you through the emotional stuff, and we'll still get the job done for you. Okay? And people, when I say that, are like, wow, thank you. Because now I've dealt with that thing right there up front, and it makes it easier to manage down the road. So when they are calling, yelling, screaming, and it is your fault, it's okay. You at least are dealing with it, right? And you brought it out in the open.
Keep your eyes on the price. Remind them of the goal at the end.
What's the average time that a person lives in a house in this market?
3 years.
7 years.
Really?
7 years?
So, yeah, 7 years,
to
just
10.
under 7 years. That's the average time. So if a person has lived there 7 or more years, that's a target, right? It's just as no different than targeting people who are noticed of defaults. Anything, it's data-driven, it gets you narrow the information down, you get your list specific to what you're looking for, and you work on those lists.
Leads are birds, okay? There's a lot of pigeons out there. There's a lot of those little brown birds that don't look that cool that fly around there. There's like it's crows, but you're looking for the eagles. An eagle is a listing lead, right? So if you walk around and you look at birds, you're like, man, there's tons of birds out there. Those are buyer leads. If you don't work purposely, you gotta get a bunch of random buyer leads all the time. And then you so happen, you look and be like, oh, there's an eagle, cool. Then now you got a listing lead. But the strong listing brokers, they understand where the eagles hang out. They hang out by the river on top of the trees and they eat salmon. So that's where they're hanging out, right? Now you guys as strong listing brokers, you guys gotta market to where the sellers hang out. They're hanging out on expired lists. Obviously, they couldn't sell their house, so they're hanging out there. They're hanging out on, like you could do a home evaluation page, and you could throw it all over the internet and say, I'll find out how much your home is worth right now. Fill this in, we'll get back to you within 5 minutes for free. They'll fill it out because they're a seller. They'll hang out on a database of homeowners that you know, right? Homeowners, so instead of just putting 100 people in there that buy and sell and everything, you put 100 sellers that own houses in your database. And then what you do is call them once a year and say, hey, I want to do a free appraisal on your home. You know, when are you planning on selling? So those are all the little tips and tricks on the strong listing brokers having a lot of listings. And that's why most brokers that take leads randomly without focus on where the eagles hang out, they deal with 90% of buyers. And we know buyers you spend 300% more time with the buyer than you do with the seller. 3 times more time with the buyer. You're driving them everywhere. You're putting multiple offers. You're doing inspections falling apart. With the seller, you show up, you do a listing presentation, they say, yeah, you sign, you get the listing ready, you go live, you wait for the buyer. Now you go ahead.
Average buyer's broker can handle 5 buyers, possibly 7 at a time,
Yeah.
before you need an assistant. The average listing broker can handle 40 to 50 listings before you have to have an assistant. Unless you're me, I'm probably good for 5, and then I get people to help me. Right? There you go.
You know, 7 years ago when I used to do real estate, I had 35 listings at one time, and I had no assistant. I had no assistant. So I got the listings from where the eagles hang out. I got it from my lawyer, Tim Tran. He was a lawyer that did a bunch of short sales, bankruptcy, divorces. Guess what? All those leads went to me.
Boom.
And then
Go to the bottom one then.
financial planning. And then my other guy was a flipper. And all those leads went to me because he needs to sell those homes he flipped. And that's that's where the eagles hung out. So you guys, once you guys start finding your niche and you're like, damn, that's a good gold mine right there. I'm gonna do that one. Whatever that one is. There's a website called boldleads.com. We already talked about it, boldleads.com. You can buy seller leads for like $20 each. They'll give you seller leads. Because they market all over the internet. And these are all sellers that want to maybe sell their home. $20 a pop, but hey, that's a source. So start thinking in that arena if you want to deal with a lot of sellers.